Welcome all of you. Today we are going to learn 2.7 6th standard lesson Yonomine and Bushi. Before that, you are going to like, share and subscribe this channel. So let's see Yonomine and Bushi. This is the story. Before we are going to see new words from this lesson. You are going to stop this and write this in your notebook. Here we are going to see paragraphs. Yonomine Cheru was the most admired girl in Okinawa. She was intelligent, tall, strong, big and beautiful. And most important of all, she was so well trained in karate that no one could beat her. When it was time to get her married, her father, who was a rich merchant, began to worry. He loved his daughter and wanted her to be happy and well cared for. She was beautiful and she would inherit a fortune from him, but where? On where? Could he find a young man who would forward to marry a woman who was stronger than him? Yonomine had her own ideas about marriage. She declared her firmly, I will only marry a man who can beat me in a fair fight. Surprisingly, many young men picked up the challenge and came forward to fight her. After all, she was a beautiful girl with a fortune. Many wrestlers were eager to win her in a contest of martial test. So, here, Okinawa Island in Japan, inherent fortune means to receive good luck. Now, question is that who was Yonomine Shiro? You can write this answer by this. One of the first to ask for her hand was Kojo, who was actually bigger and stronger than Yonomine. He was so tall and well built that his hands were like shawls and his legs resembled tree trunks, but he played foul. Even as Yonomine was bowing to him in the customary sign of respect to one's opponent. He threw a punch at her, breaking the rules of the game. Yonomine was angry. She got hold of his arm, twisted it so powerfully that the unsupportive Kojo fell down in a heap and had to limp away defeated. Many promising young wrestlers tried their hand, but Yonomine defeated them all. Her father was in despair. Young men wanted to marry girls who would cook and wash and make tea for their husbands, who would marry a girl who enjoyed wrestling. So, at the ending of this, there is question who was the first to ask for Yonomine's hand, and the answer is Kojo. So, students, I hope you understand till this. So, write new words from this passage also. Bushikiyo was just such a man. He had trained under karate master Sakugawa. He proved to be such an expert that he was recruited by Shoko, the king of Okinawa, to his personal guard. His friends said to Bushi, you should take on the challenge of this girl, Yonama. She may be big, but you are stronger and smarter than her. Bushi was keen to marry a girl like Yonama. Want a delicate, fragile girl for a wife. I shall fight with her and win over her, decided. Yonomine was impressed at the sight of her new challenger. She had heard that he was one of King Shoko's personal warriors. He was tall and slim. He had stood first on his feet and seemed unshakable. Above all, he had piercing eyes which looked straight at the opponent and showed that he was fearless and straightforward. So, this is the paragraph, and question is mention any two qualities of Bushiku. Then, after that, there is a wrestling match beginning between Yonomine and Bushi. How they win, that is shown in these paragraphs. Then, second part of the story is after marriage. They were living happily, but one day, what happened, we will see. Yonomine and Bushi lives life nicely. We have created here part of this lesson. So we will see now. One day, Yonomine announced that she would like to visit her parents. I will leave in the evening and return the next day in time to cook your dinner, she said to her husband. You really should not travel during the night, Bushi said to her family. There are bandits about. It is just not safe for a woman to go out alone after it is dark. My dear husband, you forget that you married a trained wrestler, Yonomine said to him with a smile. Don't forget that I threw you down flat on the ground, said Bushi. You are not unbeatable. Don't worry, said Yonamine. Bandits are not as skilled as you are. I can take care of myself. Bushi was not pleased. She is overconfident, he thought to himself. So, this paragraph shows after marriage what happens in their lives. She want to go to her parents' house. Bushi gave permission. Now she must thought a lesson for her own good. That evening, Yonamine left to walk to her father's home. As soon as she departed, Bushi disguised himself as a bandit, wearing shabby clothes, smearing dark colors over his hands, and covering his face with a scarf. He ran as fast as he could to hide behind a clump of trees at a fork on the road. Darkness fell down, and he saw Yonamine approaching the fork from where she would take a left turn to reach her father's house. When she crossed the clump of trees, Bushi jumped out from behind the trees and tried to attack her. Yonamine was swiftly shot in her reaction to the attack. So new words are clump means group of trees, fork means place where road divides. So here is question, what did Bushi disguise as? So Bushi disguised as bandit. Now let's see. She held her attacker by the hand and kicked him with such force that the attacker fell to the ground unconscious. Yonamine dragged him and tied him to a tree with her sash. Sash means waist cloth. She did adjust her backpack and set off round on the corner for her father's home. The next day, as she was returning home in the afternoon, she saw her bandit still tied on the tree as she had left him the previous night. Shall I untie you now? Or leave you here? She asked him. Please untie me, mumbled the bandit. I beg you to forgive me. I shan't ever do this again. Swiftly she untied him and walked away quickly. She was in a hurry. She had to reach home in time to cook her husband's evening meal. So here new words are given and answer. What did Yonamine do when bandit jumped out from behind the trees and tried to attack her? Little did she realized that she had just released her husband from his captivity. That evening, quite a while after she had set the dinner ready, Bushi walked in looking tired and dull. She helped him wash and set out fresh clothes for him to wear. She invited him to have a hot meal. As Bushi sat down to dinner, he brought out a white sash from his pocket and gave it to his wife. This is yours, if I am not mistaken, he said, looking into her eyes. Oh, Bushi. Was it you? I am so sorry, explained Yonamine. You don't have to be sorry, said Bushi. You taught me a lesson that I won't forget all my life. And that is, don't underestimate anybody. Not even a woman, asked Yonamine playfully. Especially not a woman, said Bushi. And then they burst out laughing together. So, this is the story. And moral. So, this is the nice story. I hope you understand the moral of the story, that is, don't underestimate anybody. I hope you learn this lesson. Now let's see question and answer from textbook page number 48. I hope you will write it nicely. You can stop video, you can zoom it and write. Question number 1, that 3 notes are given, you can write there. Then question 2, discuss and write 1-2 lines about the following. Whole is given, you can write it nicely in your notebook. All 5 points answer is given. I hope you can write it nicely. Then question number 3, you are going to divide the story. So here it is division is given, you can write it nicely. Question number 4, write a short monologue using one of the following ideas. Write down the monologue and present it in the class. So we are not in the class, but we will write it. Yonamine's father is worrying about getting her married. Bushi disguised as a bandit. These situations are given. You can write by stopping the video. Then question number 5, from groups and wholes debates. So pros and points are given of these 4 points. Boys cannot cook or do any housework. Girls cannot do everything that boys do. You should never lose a match, or you should admit your mistakes. All these points are covered over here. You can write it nicely. Now we will move towards the extra questions. I hope you understand all the questions from textbook. Now extra questions are there. Let's see. 5 questions are given. Then in next 10 questions are given remaining. So you can read question and answers and copied it in your notebook. I hope you understand this lesson with explanation and exercise. Like, share and subscribe my channel. Take care.